Hello and good morning. And again, I want to thank everyone who listens to this, whether it's in live or the recording. It is greatly appreciated. And today I wanted to talk about, I've talked about this before, that I had realized that I was trying to um, hold the light for everyone so they knew that there was the option or the opportunity to move, to change, or to believe in themselves, or to just have a choice. And it's through my own arrogance and stuff that I realized that nobody asked me to hold that light, and no one has asked me to stand in that place to hold the light. So I was clearing that this week. And also, what I learned was that we tend to we we have allowed um, other energies to overtake us. Like, instead of listening to our body or giving ourselves a chance to figure out something, we've been programmed to automatically just accept what's in front of us instead of questioning it, or instead of standing in our own power. So today I'd like to clear as much as possible how we've allowed outside influences. And I've talked about this before too, but this is really prevalent. And it's like we've allowed outside influences to shut us down, to shut our communication with our body, mind, and soul. We have allowed other energies to dictate to us what we're supposed to expect in life. Like, I heard someone say, like, this, is this all there is to life? And it's like, no, no, there's so much more. There's so much more. And it's just that you have to believe in yourself, and not so much believe, but to listen to your inner voice, your inner instinct. And sometimes people do it as like a gut. They listen to their gut. Like, if they're, and some people get goosebumps when they do the right thing. Some people, everybody's different. So remove and release the barriers, blockages, and shackles that we have created on ourselves, that we were not aware that we've created, so that we can live in today's society. But it's like we're bending and folding and mutilating ourselves to the point that we don't even know who we are anymore, because the outside forces have caused us to um, the outside forces have caused us to uh, believe this is the only way we could be here. Yes. And remove and release all the programming that is not in your highest and best good, that has stopped you from seeing the wonderful, amazing person you are. There's a communication that occurs between the body, mind, and soul that um, is is your body way of telling you that no, that's not for you. That's not what you want. Your mind tells you that too. It's just that we have forgotten how to trust our instincts, how to trust ourselves. So remove and release all the interference, all the gimmicks and shackles that we've received from society that has told us that this is that this is the only way we can survive on this earth, is if we follow this path. And it's like, no, 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 no. This is how you get trapped, and this is how you lose yourself. So remove and release it all. Yes. Good morning, Rose. Thank you for joining me. And thank you, like I said, everyone online. And it's interesting. So I am a spinal flow, uh, I'm a certified spinal flow practitioner. And I'm also an Access Bar facilitator and practitioner. And I have many other modalities as well. And so it is, I started a new Facebook page, but I don't even know what I'm doing. I don't know why. Anyways, I was told last night, so I'm just following my knowing. And it said, so it's called Illuminating the Brilliance of You. And some people were, I could invite to my page, and some people I couldn't. I don't know what's going on. Anyway, so if you didn't receive an invite, it's not that I don't want you to be part of it. It's just that it wasn't available to me. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, and I apologize. And so it's just, yes. So remove and release. And I was thinking that sometimes it's interesting because I've created other pages before, and I mean, the wonderful, amazing Allison Mays helped me with that. And they wouldn't even let me invite her onto this new page. And it would not allow me to invite Rose onto this new page. I don't know what's going on out there. And then it got me thinking, is like, how much else are we missing out on and being controlled and manipulated with that is not the truth, is not the reality. It's what they want you to hear. So remove and release all the places that in your body, mind, and soul that have been influenced by the outside energies, whether they do it through a frequency or a vibration or just energy. It is like it's like to shut you down, to keep you quiet, and keep you so focused on events of trauma that you don't even recognize yourself. Like you don't listen to yourself, you don't see yourself because you're focused on other outside influences that do not, because it's like we go through stuff in this world, and but we still can see, we can still be ourselves even though we're witnessing some other stuff. So remove and release that. In order for you to deal with what's going on in your life, you have to shut yourself down. No, remove and release that. Yes. And I witnessed something this week that was quite phenomenal, and it is like, without getting too political, it's just that there was an activation occurred in someone, and it's like, wow, it was like so friggin' scary that they have that much control of us. It's just so upsetting. And it's almost like the message I got, it's like, and I'm not advocating stopping taking your medication or anything like that. It's just that they have found so many ways. And a lot of people say, oh, that's just a conspiracy theory. And it's like, no, if you really witnessed and knew beyond Canada, what's in what's really going on, and realize how controlled we are. I mean, people have forgotten, like, we had a government that went online and said, if you don't get vaccinated, like, you can't go to restaurants, you're the one carrying the disease, you're a horrible, mean, nasty person. And everybody's just sort of forgotten about that whole trauma. And do you know how many bullies that brought out in people? Like, they were bullying people to get vaccinated. And it's like all our choices were taken away from us. And how many more choices? Because they use that as a forefront, as smokescreen to do evil, nasty things to us. Like I said, I'm trying not to be political, but I just want you to see where I'm coming from. And it's like, what else have we lost? And it's like, no more. The universe is like saying, no more. You're not losing yourself anymore. You have a right to be here. You have the right to stand in your brilliance. You have a right to be this amazing, wonderful person. Do not allow those influences to control and manipulate you. So let's remove and release them all. Yes. And if you think about it too, it's like, like I'll use school as an example. You know how we always had sports, which is wonderful and amazing, but you know how they got people to pick groups, and like sometimes some people, that sport wasn't their strongest thing, and it's like, so people wouldn't pick them. You'd always be the last one to be picked, and it's like, that's another way to knock us down and tell us, because that's not our strength, that there's something wrong with us because people won't accept us. And it's like, how long have we been manipulated and controlled into thinking like we're not good enough, that we're not enough, that there's something wrong with us because we don't excel at that sport? Well, maybe you excel at mathematics and you can change the world through mathematics. Maybe you excel at something else, like, and therefore, why are we allowing them? Like, that was a really young age to be segregated like that. And it's like, there's so much hate and so much like it's just it's just out of control, and you don't realize how much that bombards you and affects you. So remove and release all the aspects of yourself that is being, not so much, it's not controlling you, but it's almost like it's making you, because of what's going on out there, it's making you shut yourself down, because it's like, you don't want it, this is not how you think, really. Would your body, why would your body have any issues with certain things, that someone can't do something or whatever? Like, why would your body have? It's not your body that has that issue. It's what's been programmed into us. And it's like, so all the programs, remember, release, this might be a little might go through a little bit of a detox here, but I apologize for that. But it's like, no more. It's no, we are allowed to be here, and we're allowed to be happy and to celebrate ourselves. So remove everything that in your, as softly and gently as possible, that does not allow you to communicate with all versions of yourself, with all aspects of yourself, and has taught you to shut yourself down because that's the only way you can handle this world. Well, how about we turn it around and start emanating our light out there, so that this other energy changes for us. So remove and release all that's made you shut yourself down and implode upon yourself, and keep you small, and keep you out of the limelight and streamlight, or keep you less to affect your commitment to yourself. Yes. Because how many people are out there that have a different sense of things, a different feel of things, a different way of things? That's not wrong, but we've been taught it's wrong because it doesn't follow what the hell they've been trying to tell us that we're supposed to follow. So remove and release that, because that's no longer, like, it's no longer needed. And I know there's certain things that you need to do in order to, like, to thrive in this society, which is fine. But why are we sacrificing ourselves to thrive when we can thrive ourselves, right? And remove and release. And this is a big hurdle for me to get through too. So it's not just you out there that I'm talking to, it's also myself. Remove and release that. Yes. Like, you hear about, like, there's some really good websites out there, like GM and no, Gaiam, sorry, Gaiam, I'm saying it wrong. And I think there's a Daily Om site, and they have a lot of really interesting aspects. So we're not alone. There's so many different people out there. There's so many different experiences, and remove and release. I was listening to one of my Access Bar things this past week, and he talked about how it's not the energy work that is draining you of energy. That gives you energy. When you stand in your power and you're being yourself and you're doing what you are meant to do, that gives you energy. It's all the energies around you that are depleting you of your energy because they're fighting against you. So remove and release the power and control of those energies that they have over your body, your energy, and your spirit and your soul that fight against you, that do not allow you to be who you are and do not allow you to witness the greatness of you and to accept all parts of you times a godzillion. Yes. And it can be a very slow process, but it's called trusting yourself. And it's like, I mean, I didn't sign up for them to dictate, outside forces to dictate to me, but I didn't realize as well that I was still doing that. And it's like, I've been over here trying to hold the light, and so have other people that are on listening to me and stuff like that. And it's like, but the mass majority don't want to go to that light. They don't want to deal with it because it's not within their wheelhouse of possibilities, right? So instead of holding the light and being depletive of our energy, how about we emanate out to them so that maybe they might have a moment or a time to think that this is a possibility for them, that they can choose something different, because they're not being taught that at all. They're being taught this is what you do, that you, like, rinse, wash, and repeat, man. That's what's going on. And it's like, no, that's not what it's about. I mean, yes, we all have to work and we all have jobs and stuff like that. That's different. But it's like, what choices? Like there's a couple of things that occurred this weekend. I was like, I wanted to get in my car and drive to where it's going to help them as much as possibly can, because I have this wonderful new modality. But I had to stop myself, because that's my arrogance, right? Saying, oh, well, I'll come and help you. They never even asked. And then I thought, it's like, it's almost like they don't even know that they can ask. So remove and release all that interference, all that, like, and I have sent them email links to, like, I've sent Facebook links to what spinal flow technique is. I have, I'm trying to, in the process, advertise more and stuff like that. And there's a lot of resistance to this. And it's like, I tried to work on myself, so I don't have the resistance to it, but I'm trying to create, good morning, Lorianne. I'm trying to create a different aspect of myself that is eminent, but I'm not changing myself. I'm not changing myself at all. If anything, I'm going to be more vocal, and I'm going to start shooting it from the hip, because it's like, you need that. Sometimes we need to think about it. Like, I was thinking this morning, Greg, I think I get his, sometimes I don't get his name right because I'm in the middle of channeling stuff, but Greg Brandon, he talks about, the God code that our DNA is written in, that we are God, like we are part of God. God is part of us. And it's like, yeah. And it's not only God, it's the universal energies that are out there. Now, because we all come from different nationalities, different belief systems. And so I like to call it the universal energies. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, whatever comes to you. And it's like, so it encompasses all. We're not just limited, because what we call God, someone else might call something different. And this way, it's encompassing. So remove and release all the barriers and blockages that we have unintentionally created against ourselves. so that we may exist and cope in this world, but but it's like we have done, like, but it's like we're restraining ourselves, or as I called it, this, what I had to clear was that I was inviting myself in places and spaces that they haven't even thought of that possibility. So remove and release that all. Yes. Thank you, Rose. Yes. And the other thing that made me realize is that we have people. It was really funny because when we came back from the spinal flow intensive, at the end of, she's like, now when you go home, your energy has changed a bit and you're in a different space, and don't just leave your partner right off, just because they're not there. And it's true. Like, sometimes what happens is that it takes the people around us, because we move at accelerated rates. It's depending on our belief and how much we believe in ourselves, and how open we are to the possibility of something different. So we sometimes accelerate. I know I do that. And it's like sometimes they're way, way behind. And so you just have to be patient with them and allow them to make a choice. And if that choice is to leave, then that's their choice. But I'm not giving myself up for anybody. I'm not doing that. I'm not willing to sugarcoat myself. This is just who I am. And it's like, I was so programmed by the part-time job that I have, because of the reaction of the public that came in. Like, I'm as most of you know, I am a licensed optician, contact lens fitter, and I work for a retail company, but we have an optical inside the store. And it's like, I'm still a professional. I'm still a healthcare professional. And it's like, oh, you can get treated like garbage. And it's like, so they had programmed me. What I was trying to say about that is, they programmed me to believe that people are that horrible, and people are that committed to misery, and like it was unbelievable. But I noticed as I've been clearing it, and I had to clear it because I've got a lot of years, decades of this programming in my head and in my body. And it's like, as I'm clearing it more and more, there's like nicer people showing up. There is, it's getting better and better. But my body still doesn't want to be there. But there's certain aspects of my job that I really enjoy. And it's like, my body wants to be doing my spiritual work, and it wants me to, like, the spinal flow and just keep emanating my light. So I'm trying to find that balance where I can emanate my light at the same time. But it's just under certain structures and restraints, it's just not possible. So remove and release all those embedded and ingrained structures and restraints and opinions of others. Because we were trained very, very well that if someone freaks out, just give them what they want so they leave. And it's like, but you're left with what they said to you, right? And it's like, just let it go. And it's like, no, it's not that easy. And until you experience that on a high volume level, it can really throw you off. And it was killing me, to tell you the truth. And it's like, so I released and removed it and realized that the best part of it was that if they're that horrible to me, then, how horrible are they to themselves? And like I said, as I was releasing and letting that go, because I've been always taught that large mass of people, and I think, and it's from past lives as well, is like they're going to turn and they're going to turn on you and they're going to be monsters, because that's what I've witnessed. And I'm sorry to say that that's what I've witnessed in my professional job. And it's like, so, but as I realize that there are wonderful, amazing people out there that come in and can talk to us and stuff like that. And as I lift that out of my field, it's changing, which I think is absolutely wonderful. But it's like, I was conditioned and beaten down and taught that I still have people in my family tell me I'm crazy because I do this stuff. And it's like, wow. That's the thing about some people. It's like, I think sometimes the worst people that you have in your life, because you choose your friend, is your family sometimes. And it's like, because they're feeding you're feeding on you're not feeding, but it's almost like maybe it's their contract or their obligation to keep you down by voicing and saying this stuff. And it's like, oh my God. And I used to give, oh, well, there's this option. You could do this, you could that, and they don't act upon it. But that has nothing to do with me. And it's not my job. So I stopped talking about it. So I go, sometimes I don't hardly say anything at all at certain events because it's not worth it anymore. And I don't need to subject myself to that sheer disappointment and realization that, it's just, I look for the good. What I do now is I look for the common things we have in common. And that's what I focus on. And it's a hard journey because it's like I was saying before in previous ones, and all of us have amazing gifts and awarenesses. And it's like, I just want to share them because I'm so happy about it. But they do not want them. They don't want them. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want to know about it. They do not want them. They want to live in their own world, right? So whatever makes them happy. And I'm so glad I've come to this point to realize that. And it's like, it was almost like I was setting myself up to be rejected, if that makes sense to you. Because that's what I've been taught in my work world, is that and society has taught that if you don't look a certain way, if you don't have certain things, like you're not winning, right? And that's such a lie. It's such a lie. And it's like there's all these things that have been set up to deaden us, to kill us off, to keep us quiet, to shut us down, to, and so let's remove and release all these trigger points that we might still have activated, because I realize I still have some of them too, that will shut us down, knock us off, or just contract us so that we can survive in the society we've been taught. But how about if we do the reverse and start teaching people what love is, what joy is, and what amazing, wonderful opportunities to us. Like when I first started out, I came out I was doing angel card readings and I was a psychic, doing psychic readings. Everybody's like, oh, and there's so much focus on like that. They think, oh, it's like, I had one lady who's been mean to me the whole time I've known her, but as soon as she found out I was a psychic, she was my best friend. And it's like, oh my God. And it's anyways, it was, and they put so much emphasis on that. But you also have other gifts that, you can channel, you can sense things. It comes to you in words, comes to you in feelings, comes in thoughts, comes in smells, colors. Like there's so many aspects of you, but for some reason, the seeing is the most important. And one of the hardest things I had to deal with in my readings was that there people would show up that had passed on and they were really attached to, but they're on the other side now and they're letting go of their stuff, and they want the person that's still alive to have the best life possible. So they'll ask me to clear things, but that's not what the person's here for. And and it's like, so how? And then they just want to know if they're okay. They don't want to clear themselves because that's not what they came for. And it's like, so I just had to follow my instinct, and sometimes it was what they wanted to hear, and sometimes it was more of a clearing. And it's like, I just can't shut myself down anymore. I can't do that. And it's like, and I understand that. So when people come, I try to see what they're coming for, because if they're, and like one thing about one of my aunts, which I greatly appreciate, and it was a good question. She said, well, if they can't recognize who's coming, can't you just ask someone else to show up? And sometimes that's not who's connected to you, right? If you can't control and manipulate who's on the other side talking. And I found too that if someone was extremely drunk or stoned or was in a lot of like crying and stuff like that, nothing was coming through because they had put so many walls up against that. So I used to do group sessions, and oh my God, that would, like, they were amazing, but sometimes people were so drunk or stoned that they didn't understand what I was saying and they didn't recognize it. But it would drain me of energy for 3 days afterwards because there was so much information coming through, and I couldn't filter it because I'm not there. I'm just a vehicle for them to pass on messages and stuff like that. So if that's your calling, that, just be prepared and get yourself ready. And it's like, it's really interesting. And another example that had come up was that I had done that for a while. Then I had done the Reiki for a while. Then I had moved. And it's just like I'm going through my layers to get to who I am. And it's like, this is who I am. And it's like the very aspect that you can offer a variety of different things. And it's like some people stay with one thing and they do extremely well at it, but maybe that's what they were here for. And I'm here for something different. So I just accepted myself and accepted that whatever comes my way, and it's just been really interesting. So any of the places that you might have remove and release, any of the places that you might have shut yourself down because you decided to move on to something else, but you might have felt that you should have stayed, doubting yourself, that you doubt yourself from moving forward. Yes. And then there was another aspect of myself that is, I get triggered sometimes by the wonderful, amazing. It's wonderful, amazing to have all these gifts and abilities, but I'm super friggin' sensitive. And some people will trigger me and it shuts me down. And it's like, so remove and release those set up triggers, those set points, that, because that's what Eckhart Tolle was trying to teach us, was that you allow it to flow through you and just continue on out instead of sticking to you. So all the places that you're still allowing stuff to stick to you, remove and release it. Yes. Remove and release all aspects and remnants of the past that have taught you that there was, like, Jamie Lima Kern has a book out, and it's called Worthy. And one of the things that she talks about in it is when you enter into a new aspect of yourself or a new field of yourself or offer something completely different, she says that to remember that you're not crazy, you're just first. And I've witnessed and realized that some people don't want to be the first ones to try something different. And that's fine. And it's like remove, but that's a remove and release how that, excuse me, how that impacts you and how it has stopped you. Yes. Because there was this aspect of like I have my own struggles. I'm by far not perfect. Oh my god. Yeah. It's like, and sometimes I end up repeating something until I finally learn it. And it's like, okay, I think I got it now. Okay, let's move on. It's just, and it's, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm human too. I make mistakes, and that's just. But what I've learned is I don't beat myself up over them anymore. I don't. I don't allow myself. I don't knock myself down for things. I just like, okay, I finally got it. I'm listening. Thank you, and release it. So all the places that you've stopped yourself because you keep repeating the same mistake or you keep repeating the same cycle and it's paralyzed you. And I'll give an example of it. As I move forward into my business is very up and down. And this last week, I had applied to be a natural therapist. But because I live in the province of Nova Scotia, I won't be recognized by insurance companies. So they told me it's a waste of my time, getting my license. And so I was really, really upset over that. But I had a preconceived idea that if I had the licensed naturopath, that it would at least give me some type of security. And a really good friend of mine said, why are you hooked on that? Why do you focus on that? Because there's other people out there that are spinal flow technicians that are not naturopaths or natural therapists, and they're doing really well. So it's like I stopped myself because I was trying to bend, fold, and mutilate myself into another possibility. And it's like, oh my God, I'm doing it again. That I don't think it's like an aspect of myself that I don't think I'm worthy of it. Because a couple days later, there was a lady that come into the optical and we got talking and stuff like that. And the first words out of her mouth is, oh, will my insurance cover you? And it's like, no, she doesn't want anything to do with me. And it's like, so this is the other aspect. And a couple of people have been talking about this is that, so you'd rather have another TV, maybe you already have 3 or 4, or do your nails or whatever. They have different priorities than us, right? And spending money on their health isn't one of them. And it's like, okay, that's fine. I understand that. But there are people out there that will spend money on their health. Consider their health really important. So remove and release the barriers, and this especially applies to me as well. The barriers or blockages that we've placed in our field because we have these preconceived ideas of what our clientele will be. And it's like, so therefore we've limited ourselves and shut ourselves down and we are stuck. So remove and release that. Yes. Yeah, because the other aspect is like, I've heard all these success stories with spinal flow, how people are booked out and they're booked up and stuff like that. And it's like, it's really slow and dead for me. And it's like, oh my God, here I go again. I've picked something because Access Bar but it's also maybe it's some of my advertising. I don't know, but it could be just my blockages as well. Is not really popular here. And like I said, my business is up and down and I picked something else that And it's like, it's just going to take some training and education. But it's like, oh my God, here I go again. I did this to myself again. So I had to remove and release that. So remove and release that was a preconceived idea. That was someone else telling me that, I'm how many businesses have I had that haven't really been super successful? And, and here I go again. So it's like remove and release it all, because it's like, at least I'm trying. At least I'm trying. And at least I'm standing in my power trying to do it, right? But this is still some of the chatter that I've heard. So remove and release that. Yes. So I decided that when people say things like that to me, I'm not going to be as nice as because one of my friends, the biggest thing she used to say to me is that, because I didn't want to cause waves and ripples, and like we were at something and someone had insulted me, and I just said, "Oh, thank you. That's really nice of you." And it set her off. Like it set her, like she's like, what, why are you giving them permission? But it's like, I've been taught through my job to just shut up and not respond back to people. So I had to work on that, because it's like, you're not getting away with it. Not anymore. You're not being mean to me. Not anymore. It's just not, I'm not allowing people to shoot me down and knock me down anymore. They want to express their opinion, that's fine, but I'm going to express mine, because it's no longer allowed. So instead of creating because that puts me back in another defense mechanism, right? So instead of creating that possibility, what I've decided is I'm just going to release it and let it go, and whatever happens. And this is another aspect of myself. If I have someone in my life that insults me a little too much, but that's, that might be the way they do their thing, or like, I just let them go. And it's like, that's not good either, because there could have been some aspect of them that, would have been good for me. But sometimes you have to really stand in your power and decide for yourself. And I do a lot of comfortable distancing because of my own issues. And it's like, I'm trying to release and let that go. So release and remove the aspects of yourself you still keep trapped, because you feel that it's not accepted, or because you stand in your power and you're doing certain things, and you have decided that you're not, or other people have decided that you're not, and it's like, it doesn't really matter what they think, but we still have that aspect of yourself. I've been really well programmed, I'm telling you. It's like, so remove and release that. And remove and release why they're like, when we grow, we sometimes have people around us that we grow with, but they all grow in different ways. But it's like, I come to realization that some people will say things to me because they're trying to help me, not knock me down. So that has really been a big growth in me. And it's like, because I'm not perfect. And, some things that I can change in myself, I'm willing to change. I have no problem with it. It's the delivery of it that is the issue. So sometimes if and I used to take it, we were taught through all these great spiritual things about reflection. If someone is mean to you, is there some aspect that you're mean to yourself? Yes. But why are they being mean to us? Right? There's a whole different aspect of it as well. And nobody's perfect. I wish we lived in that perfect world. But it's like, and maybe a better way of communicating could occur. So remove and release all the old communications, programming tapes, and belief patterns that you have that have taught you through time that that when certain words or certain things are said to you, it automatically sends you into a place of thinking that they're knocking you down, they're being mean to you, or they are that trigger you in any shape or form. Yes. Because they could have had the intention. Thank you, Rose. Thank you. Thank you. You're such a beautiful soul. There's so much, man, so much. And they could have had it was a good intention, but they said the words that trigger you. And therefore, you don't hear what they're trying to tell you because you've been triggered, right? And you shut yourself down because, like for myself, that's how I was taught. That's the only way I could survive my job. And it's like because we were trained really well. Ooh, yeah, to not talk back to somebody and all this stuff. And it's like I hated my job for decades. Like I just felt like I was pulled apart in so many aspects. And it's like, oh my God, like I didn't want to go to my job. I didn't want to deal with people. And it's like, it was because of this suppression that we were taught, that we were manipulated, we were controlled with. So remove and release that all in any aspect of your life that's still going on. Yes. It's funny. It's like we focus on, like, there's so much of us, like all this positive, joyful expectations or expressions of ourselves, but we don't realize how much is holding us back, so we don't see it. We don't see the brilliance of ourselves. We don't see how amazing and wonderful that we are. And it's like, so therefore, remove and release it's almost like all the shackles that bind us, that keep us in a place of, oh yes, I see the brilliance of myself, but I'm carrying 110,000 pounds of luggage, and it's like I'm carrying all this stuff with me because this is what I've been told or taught to do, and it's like, no, you do not need to carry that. It's like blazing your pathway, so remove and release all aspects of you that you've been trained, that you had to carry all that luggage with you, and that you had to experience. Like your greatness can only be conditional depending on who could handle it. Ooh, that's a big one. Ooh, okay. Yes. And thank you, Lorianne. Thank you very much. And it's like, oh my gosh, so gather up to 4 hours and can hear an energy, send it to the universal light to be transferred in the highest and best good. Yes. Thank you. It is done, it's done, it's done, it's done. It's going to be interesting to see what this brings out in us, and the level of confidence of ourselves, and all the places makes us aware and radiate and aware of the places we've been blocking ourselves. Totally unintentional. Maybe it's been conditional, and it could have been taught to you to do this, right? And it's like, so focus this week. I'm going to challenge myself as well, because I used to type all the miracles that I witness every day in my phone, and I'm gonna do that again this week. So I challenge you to witness the greatness of you, like how you have become any aspect of yourself and all the miracles around you. And it's like we have to be thankful for. And I always use this example because I used to have, and I realized the other day I don't have the same. I've cleared something, and it's like driving in the city, because Amherst is a town, so it's not as like. And I used to witness like all these people that never put their signal light on, and passed or cut you off or whatever. And it's like, but now it's like I have come to a point, as long as I don't get hurt, I don't care anymore. And that took a long time to get there, because it's like that was my biggest issue with driving, because I had witnessed so many potential accidents, and I was trying to clear them and stuff like that. And it's like, they don't seem to care. The other person doesn't care. Why the hell do I care? Right? So remove and release that aspect of yourself that you don't even realize that you're projecting onto other people. I don't like to witness like tragedies and stuff like that, and I always say, as I'm traveling the highway, I pray, I ask that Saint Assese protect all the animals, and so that they don't come out onto the road and get killed while I'm there witness. Unfortunately, there's a few times it has happened, and it's really sad to see. And it's like, or if I see dead animals along the side, I just ask the universe energy to come and pick them up and take them back, because some of them still, their spirits are still hanging around. And it's like, and just to be thankful that we have that ability to do that. And it's therefore it is like trying to make it as pleasant as possible. So it's like the other day I was coming into, there's a huge traffic circle that I have to go through to get to work. And nobody would let me in. So I had to go right around and come back around. But you know what? Oh, well, that's okay. Because the second time I came around, there wasn't a soul on the road. So it's like, okay, it was just a little fun. Let's whip around the traffic circle and come back. I'm just thankful there was a lot of traffic on my side, so I could stay within it to get out. And it's like, so remove and release all the programming and aspect that has taught you that was very draining to my energy, because I used to, I would tense up going in there, because it's like, and it's like, they don't want to use their signal light. That's their problem, not mine. I don't have anything to do with it anymore. And it's like, that was a big thing for me to realize that I've overcome that. That's friggin' huge. And then I got lost. We were going somewheres, and I almost didn't turn off the right thing. And it's like, oh, well, I can go up a little further and turn around and come back and do it again. And it's like, because I was always taught, like if you got lost because of the experiences in my past, it ends up that you have horrific experiences because you took the wrong turn, you went the wrong way, you took the wrong exit, or just wrong corridor. Awful, horrible things would happen to you. So I released and removed that. So let's release, remove it. Yes. And then the other aspect of that was that it's like, oh, well, just go further up and turn around. And it's like, wow, things have really changed. It's wonderful. And that's a miracle to me. So I was just using that as an example. So it's like things that used to really set you off or make you tense or upset or stressed, and you not anymore. And it's like, wow, the greatest, the people that are closest to you are the greatest one that can push all your buttons. But when you don't react anymore, which has been a big thing for me, then that's the miracle right there. That's how much you've grown, because it's just taught you that it's their issues, their fears, and their trauma, right? It's not yours, and it's not a reflection of you. And that's the biggest thing about it. It is not a reflection of you. It's their stuff. Sometimes they don't have filters or they don't know how to cope with things. So the first thing they do is lash out at you. So remove and release where you still think it's a reflection of yourself. Yes. Yeah, I think I've been talking to you all morning, Rose. I was talking before I get on here and sending you energy and stuff. So it's really interesting. So thank you for that confirmation. And thank you very much for listening today. And, my intention was I was only going to be on here for 15 minutes. I got to get that out of my head because it's an hour. We're almost approaching an hour. Anyways, thank you very much for listening. Have a wonderful and amazing day. And just take some deep breaths and breathe into your amazement and your wonder. And it's just amazing. Thank you for listening, for being part of this, and for continuing to support me. I really appreciate it. And have a wonderful day. Enjoy.